Good afternoon, this is Kuro. The dinosaurs are awake, so this may be a little loud in the background. Hopefully, I can get this video out real quick. Going over the matchmaking, it's a tier 10 battle. Threats to me, I gotta pause it. Midway, got Double Des Moines. Edinburgh can get in close to the cap. The AP is always a nasty threat. Destroyer threats gearing Yugumo. The map's Northern Lights. We are looking at 4 cap domination. I am on the south side, on the east side of the map, and I am basically going to push up here to decap. And my intent for this game is basically I've been expanding my comfort level with CVs and trying to see just how far I can push it. And this build on my Yugumo is just about the culmination of it. I am running a full gun build with reload, basic firing training, adrenaline rush, and expert marksman. You'll notice I don't have the usual RPF that I normally run on my Japanese DDs. I am running F3 torpedoes and torpedo reload. So basically looking at, a really, my concept behind this is just a destroyer that packs a wallop. The ship has near Udaloy gun DPM levels. I think it's within just a couple thousand DPM of what an Udaloy can put out. And you've got, much better torps, much better concealment, all of that. So, just kind of messing around with this build. This isn't a competitive build or anything like that. This is just me, seeing how far I can push things in randoms. And what I want you to take note is, look at my position. There's a real controversy right now about, being 4 or 5 kilometers from, hold on, let me turn Moana down a little bit, because it feels like it's screaming in my ear. Um, there's a lot of pushback about this thought that if you have a CV in the area, you basically have to be positionally sound and within, range of supporting AA fire. My Yugumo doesn't have anywhere near the AA required to actually be a decent deterrent, so I need to rely on allies to provide that for me. So people are saying they don't want to, they can't be effective, 4 or 5 kilometers from their team, and it's just not true. You've got to look for opportunities, just like you look for opportunities when you're, out pushed out way in front of your team. And in some ways, you can it's actually easier to hunt this close to your team, because ships are going to do, they're more predictable, because as soon as your team starts, shooting at guys, they get real sketchy on what it is they're gonna do. Right here, I'm just basically timing torps, throwing them out here, expecting this gearing is gonna come around the island kind of this way and try to contest the cap. And torpedoes are out. I don't want to use a torpedo reload, so I'm just going to angle away from where I think that gearing is and just play safe. Hey guys, you're okay. Now, this is an issue here. The dive bombers, they're the biggest threat to me in battle, and if you'll notice, this Baltimore's moved out of position. I'm just a few seconds away from getting the cap, and I know now I'm gonna be eating some damage for this. Um, and what I'm trying to do is CV is going to be dropping me. So I'm trying to turn perpendicular to his approach. I'm changing speed. I'm doing everything I can to try to throw off his aim. And you'll notice that that drop pattern hit this side of my ship, hit this side of the ship. Now, unfortunately, he broke my engine, and I see that he's coming, got a perfect angle on me right here. I've got to use my damage control, try to get moving. I don't want to be a stationary target. Look at the difference in that drop. He was able to drop me right down the length of my ship and inflicted a significant amount of damage. Now, you know, that's what happens. That's me misplaying right there. There was nothing, you know, overpowered or anything like that. He basically had set up a good drop and was able to get it pulled off. Calm down, guys. Gonna dodge some torpedoes here, but I'm pushing back in. I don't want to give up decap. The thing is about these caps in a CV battle, it is really hard to actually get a cap. So when you get one, you want to hold on to that damn thing. Our Baltimore is committing suicide. Um, I don't know why you'd push up there, but basically everybody and their sister is going to try to rush him on the 9 line. And we're looking at the Moscow radars, the gearing. And I'm just going to take some pot shots out here. I mean, this guy, you know, I kind of want him to shoot at me because he'll be detected longer. He's playing it smart though, and he's kiting away. Unfortunately, he did a good job dodging and wasn't able to really land any shots. I think I was just leading wrong. But regardless, we hold decap. So I am going to circle back in, and I'm already seeing what's going to happen. There goes our Baltimore. I'm telling the Massachusetts he needs to get back, and I mean the reason why is you've got a Jean Bart, you have a Hindenburg. Both of these are very significant threats to a Massachusetts. Um, it's not going to go well. I mean, even this Hindenburg, you know, can just shove right into that Massachusetts and just torp him. It's not something that's not a fight that I'd want to pick. And I mean, let alone that, you know, your secondary spec. Why are you rushing these guys? You don't have turtleback armor. You don't have any of the things going for them that you know these other ships do. You know, this guy at the very least should be reversing, trying to stay angled to them and mitigate the damage. Now, this is what I'm talking about working within your team. Okay, I know that there's a gearing up here in the smoke, so I'm going to try to help my team out. I'm going to throw a couple torps into this smoke ahead of my team, and then I'm going to use torpedo reload up here because I know this Hindenburg's going to rush this Massachusetts. And what I expect is going to happen, this looks like a dangerous torp drop, but I've seen battleships do this a million times. They push by each other, and then they do like this stupid little circle right around each other until one of them is able to kill the other one. So, I already start to see signs that he's looking to turn in behind this John Bart. And I'm just watching. And there, you can start to see the turn. And I just throw those F3s out there. And this is what I mean by using ships that are being forced to angle in certain situations. Using these situations where you can punish these ships heavily because they have limited, you know, ability to move in certain directions, and that just makes it a matter of predicting, you know, their speed. So in this case, 7.3 kilometers away, drop 2 sets of F3s out there. Um, this Hindenburg's already in trouble. He just doesn't know it. Even with Hydro, he may still eat one of these. They're that fast. I mean, Hindenburg doesn't have the best rudder in the world, and I mean he's distracted. You can see he's zeroed in on that Massachusetts trying to get the kill, and bam. And you can see the turn that I'm talking about, where you know that's what he's trying to do, and he got blapped by it. But I in turn picked up the Hindenburg, and that was me trying to help out an ally in this situation. Now, uh, the minimap. This Jean Bart, there's nothing over here now. What's he gonna do? He's gonna sail south. So I'm just gonna cruise down here. Somebody salty in chat. Now, understand that I'm starting to move away from my team for the moment. I do have a Buffalo out here that I can hook up with in a little bit, but right now I am vulnerable to air attack, and you need to understand those threats. Now right here you got the Jean Bart pushing up. Looks like he's got a repair off for us, and just dropping those sets of torps. And really, what I think I should have done, because this Buffalo is spotting, I think that I should have hugged this island a little more. I was a little greedy trying to get in here to B, so I just wanted to throw some torps out on my way to the cap here. Um, I would have had a much better torp strike on this John Bart if I would have maximized my angle here as close to 90 degrees as I can. The ideal torp position being slightly in front of the target ship and on their broadside. And, being able to torp from this direction, I would have been able to absolutely eviscerate that Jean Bart. At the end of the day, this was pretty much good enough. Again, Jean Bart's not going to give broadside to the Buffalo simply because why risk eating all that AP? So he's locked into position, and oh shit, here comes some torpedoes from an angle that he didn't really expect. And you know, Japanese torpedoes, they hit like a truck. I don't want to shoot here. I know there's a Yugumo up here. We just saw his torps. I want this to be a surprise. My CV is going to finish off the Jean Bart. So getting my guns up in the vicinity of where I expect to pick a fight. I'm taking a look at the smoke where it's at. Is he still in the smoke? And here he is. And now you start to see just the disgusting gun DPM. That was almost 4K right there. Might have been over 4K. It's absolutely nuts what the Japanese destroyers can do with this setup. Stop, dodge the torps. Now we've got midway dive bombers again. We've already established they can be a pain in the ass, but at this point I've got terrain on my side. I'm not locked in. I've got my rudder, all of that. I basically hold my AA until he commits to the Grozavoy. The Grozavoy had popped his AA early on, trying to shoot down some planes. In my opinion, on that initial drop, nah. Focus on getting him to come to miss you the first time, and then pop your AA while he's, doing the circle trying to drop you again. You handle it that way, and you're able to have better success. Now, I've got rocket planes coming in at me right now, and you're gonna notice I'm just gonna stay dark, I'm trying to slow up here because I want to keep going forward. And what I'm doing, I'm basically hugging the attack plane's belt. He detects me. I'm too close. He can't actually attack me. And he actually hit the Grozavoy behind me because the Grozavoy again popped his AA early. You know, again, just to pause it right here. If I pop my AA early, he's able to get, you know, a full-on initial attack on me. You know, the time for my AA to him being able to hit me is just a couple seconds. But but if you stay dark and actually let him air spot you first, then go all crazy with your defensive fire, uh, if you have it, with your, you know, manual focus of your AA, he has to fly over you, complete this turn, and this turn, he's kind of locked into position, and usually what ends up happening, they stray into your long-range AA, and that's where your flak burst can start doing some work. So I don't run it on the Japanese DDs just because they don't have a lot of flak, um, but most of the other destroyers, you know, Z-52, for example, I believe puts out, you know, 6 flat clouds on its long-range aura with the AA module. It and it does good DPM. It's got good alpha damage on the planes. It's got like a 95% hit rate. You use these kinds of tactics to make that CV pay for it. You know, he has to fly over me. Now all of a sudden he's got a Grozavoy, a Buffalo, and straying close to a Republic's AA. You know, he can't afford to come back and you know, reattack these destroyers. And it's this kind of planning and positioning. Yes, it takes a little bit of thought. Yes, in the end game, you might not have it. If everything went terrible for your team, you don't have the support. It's a c'est la vie kind of thing. It's, you know, your team, you know, put, you know, misplayed, and you're just in a disadvantaged state. And that's something that we need to maintain in this game. That there needs to be rewards if a team is able to, you know, destroy the AA ships on an enemy team. You know, the enemy should feel that pinch. So just gonna go ahead and kick this one forward again. Got Nabuki out here, and we see the gearing. He's going for decap. Um, Honestly, kind of my argument would be they need a kill more than they need decap. Um, Something to try to roll back these points, because they're likely going to lose A eventually. As I mean, they just have a Yamato holding this down, and this Hindenburg's position is telling me that this guy's actually smart and is probably burning the holy shit out of that Yamato right now. And the Iowa just might even ram. So the Ibuki pushes in behind the islands. Just going to throw a fan pattern of torps out there. And again, here comes the planes. I'm speed boosting away from the planes because I know that Ibuki's coming out. The gearing actually takes a shot at me. He misses. But I don't want to shoot this close to the Ibuki. I throw some torps out there expecting this gearing to accelerate again. And now that I know my torps are close enough to the Ibuki, I wanted to try to create that distraction that Ibuki might try to look at me to shoot me. F3s again, baby. Now this gearing, he's got an HP advantage, but this fight is completely in my favor. Gearing stands no chance against this build this far out. It's I mean, you see how the gun DPM, it's pretty quick. Gearing, believe he actually smokes up, and he starts running, and it's, you know, this is just one of those things. We've got dive bombers coming back in. It's smart for this midway to try to come for me. I'm overextended right now. I don't have support. How am I going to play this? I'm being a little stupid typing in chat right now. But again, basically changing my speed as he starts his attack run and trying to get as close to perpendicular across his drop as possible. And he just missed his drop. We finish up the game. And again, not a huge amount of damage, but look at the utility for the team. I am second place on the team. You saw how often I was within 4 to 5 kilometers of my team doing the important stuff. Okay, I took 100 of 120 capture points for our team. So out of everything, I capped the vast majority of points for our team. Um, I picked up 2 kills and 57k spotting in a CV game. That's pretty decent. You can have really reasonable games, and I mean this was what I think 1900 base XP, something like that. That's a really solid game. If you had every Yugumo game like this, you would be pretty much super Unicom in it. So, and I mean, you take a look and you know the bombs, yeah, they hurt, and it's you've got to respect that. And part of the reason why I pulled this game is it demonstrates some of the how do I survive when I'm out on my own, and a lot of it is coming down to timing. Just trying to throw off their aim, try to mitigate some of the damage because you're gonna take a hit. If you're out there all by yourself, expect to take a hit. You're out of position. That's the game telling you you're out of position. You're not doing what you need to do to protect yourself from this threat. Um, and I think that the focus that a lot of people are having right now is they're focused on well, that should just not happen. I should be able to have some sort of counterplay. Well, your counterplay is good positioning. And, using that positioning to, to make plays. I mean, you saw here a couple different scenarios against the John Bart, against the Hindenburg, where I basically used ships that were locked into an angle and hammered them with torps, and there was most of my damage right there. Um, and the thing is with the torpedo boats, gunboats, you need to be chipping away all game long to try to have a decent game. With torpedo boats, their alpha is so high on the torps, you only need to land one good volley. That's it. One good volley, and you've had a decent game. And I think people lose sight of that picture playing torp boats in particular, and they get too aggressive, they get too greedy. And I mean, myself, I'm sure if you've watched enough of my videos, you'll see that that is an issue that still plagues me. I play destroyers very aggressively, and I can overextend at times. And you know, builds like this with this Yugumo, you do not have the luxury of overextending. I mean, if I'd have come around the corner of that island and run into that gearing at about 5 kilometers, there'd be a hell of a fight on my hands that I would probably lose, uh, just due to that fight is in favor of the gearing. He's got more DPM than me. He's got 21 millimeter armor sections that my HE won't penetrate. And unless I can either get enough angle where I can use AP on him or get my torpedoes into the mix, I would probably lose that fight, even though I'm full gun spec. So, you know, there's some, everything has its counter. There's no, you know, something's going to win every fight no matter what. Um, Player skill comes down to it. And the thing with CVs, have patience, guys. Have patience, particularly in your destroyers and particularly in your torpedo boats. You only need one good torpedo volley to have a good game. Um, you know, have that patience because the map is going to open up. You don't want to be the that guy that dies, in the first 10 minutes of the game. If you're dying in the first 10 minutes of the game, it's almost a 100% sign that you're playing too aggressive and you're overextending. So again, I'm just gonna go ahead and cut this thing off short since number one's having a cow. Come on, you're all right. But excuse me. I hope you guys are having a good day. If you've got any questions, leave them in the comments below. Excuse me, I swallowed a frog. And I will talk to you later.